Good morning. Subarctic beekeeper, one of the many. End of June. I've got an empty hive here, the purple one. And I've got some bustling hives to the left of me. And I'm willing to bet there's some frames of brood in there that I can use to make a split. A split is when you take the extra brood from one hive, put it in another, stick in a queen, and you've got a new colony. This box has been active ongoingly. Made it through winter last year. Got a good queen, good strong queen. On it I've got an extra honey super to remind me that it's probably going to need an extra honey super. In our area, we don't get up a gazillion supers like you might see in the movies or in pictures where people have a hive and then honey super after honey super 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That doesn't happen. You might get a couple. I hear downtown they get more because they've got flowers that are taken care of, annuals that are planted that go well into fall, so they've got access to a lot of variety. Out here we take what we get, unless we plant for our bees, which is something I do to extend the season. I use this brick to set my smoker on top so that I don't melt anything with my polystyrene hives. That's a downfall. I still have feeders on my hives because it's easier to keep them on. So when we have bad weather, I don't have to open up the hive and stick it on, it's already on. A couple of them have replacement queens, in which case we need a feeder, extra syrup to mimic nectar flow, which inspires the queen to lay, and also the bees to make wax. The best way to arrange for this, I don't know. I see people with apiaries with their hives on the ground. It doesn't work here. Lots of things don't work here, but lots of things do. There's a lot of management involved. Let's see what we got. I do have super here, and super's all the way down. On one of the colonies, I did not put a queen excluder. And if I have some eggs in some short frames, some super frames, that are short, not 10 inches for the long box, but shorter for this box, then I'll put them in that small short nuke hive that I brought out for my beloved dead black queen. Holy crow. Well, these gals are hungry. There's a plastic inset that goes into these top feeders, just like an L shape. And they are so easy to lose. They're clear, so if you bang your hives anywhere to drain the syrup, you're gonna lose them. And they're hard to find. So I ended up making my own, getting a piece of plastic from a hardware store, using my skill saw, measuring it out, and sawing it up as a replacement. This one that I made is too short. And so what's happened is there's a lot of bees inside the feeder that need to come out. Just checking over the bees. Had good movement. I sterilized my tools this morning. You want to sterilize between so that if one colony has a virus, you don't want to spread. cooler than yesterday. There's my gals underneath. I can't see them, but you can. Lots of them. And lay them on top of this lid. Gives them enough space to breathe and move. But they can't see me. But all these gals can. This colony is humming contentedly. If I remember right, I have some frames of honey in here. Yep, on the left side. I usually bring an extra lid. It's real helpful for having another cover. Voila. I'm going to take this honey super off and go down into the deep box. I want to look for brood. Make sure the queen's in there. There's a lot of propolis that's been used to seal. You can hear it crack. The space where the boxes meet. And what that does is it keeps out all the drafts. Holy moly! It's a heavy super. Means it's full. We're close to it. So when it's heavy, it makes it harder to move without jarring anybody. I'm just going to take a step back because I jarred them. They've been jarred. Took one for the team yesterday, a wasp. I think she was trying to take out my leg. Got several bees here that have been crushed unintentionally with their entrails hanging out, which means the pheromone's been released. The enemy pheromone has been released. Guess onto whom? That would be me. Smoker's a good option in this case to block the smell of that pheromone. I think what I was saying was people that have their hives on the ground, they don't seem to have to look for places to set things. We have ants on the ground, shrews and voles. Thank God we don't have snakes. There's some spiders, but not too many. Dogs, cats, weasels. When I get the smoker going, let them know everything's okay. I'm going to put a lid on this box here after I move it over so that they're contained. Not wanting to crush anybody, but to move slowly. If you're not strong enough to lift these by yourself, better think about that beforehand. Because these deep boxes can easily get to 100 pounds. I'd say the super boxes, 50, 60. If you're short, like I am, always try to move slowly. If you're short like I am, it makes it more awkward because you can't lift things up high. You just got to do what you can. So I'm removing the queen excluder. And what this does is it makes it so the queen cannot lay into the honey supers. I like them. Some people don't care for them. You gotta do what's right for you. They've been jarred. Makes it easier for me. Hi ladies. I'm gonna go in your hive now. Hope that's okay with you. Remember, all these bees are female. There are some drones in here. Those are the male bees. They are used for one purpose, and that is to mate with. To inseminate the virgin queens. After that, they die. If they don't mate within a certain time period, the reproductive organs die, but they generally just live about a month, maybe. conditions are great. What they do is they gather together like boys outside of a 7-Eleven and form a drone congregation, or a DCA, we call them. And you can sometimes see them. They fly up all together. There will be several, made up of drones of different hives, different colonies, etc. And when there is a virgin queen, after her chitin is hardened, her chitin is her exoskeleton, she will fly up for 2 or 3 days, and she flies faster and farther than the drones. And what this does is it makes it so that only the strongest drones can catch her. And she will typically mate with between 8 and 20 drones. He inseminates her, he ejaculates, and his penis falls off. And he falls to the ground, dying, dead. Sometimes we get lucky and find them. Pretty interesting to see. The remaining drones that are at the hive at the end of the season get dragged out by the worker bees because they're a drain on resources. They don't perform any duties in the hive. But they do carry on the genetic line in the form of sperm. I've got good genetics in my hives. So I'm okay with the drones. Typically, not so happy about them because they're also a nice juicy treat for varroa mites. And you could do a mite test, typically collecting about a cupful or 300 bees from your colony, putting them in some Dawn liquid. It works better than isopropyl alcohol. If you don't believe me, look it up. And those mites will fall off, so you'll know if you have mites in your hive. However, you could do a drone sampling like that and find out that there's no mites in your hive. Then look in some drone comb and find out there's mites all over your hive. In a book that I was assigned to read for the Master Beekeeping program, in one of the books it said we have to change how we think about colonies. Instead of thinking of them as workers, queens, and drones, we have to think of them as workers, queens, drones, and mites. Because they're here. They've been here. They're going to be here. You can do your best to kill them off, which is a great thing. You got to treat for them because they carry so many diseases and viruses that will weaken your bees and kill your colonies, and then kill my colonies if I'm your neighbor, even though I treat. Got a bee trying to go up and get to the warmth. I am moving from the right to the left. Got some new frames in here, so they are drawing out some comb. They've drawn out some comb on this side already, and the comb is yellow. I think that's because I put Hive Alive in their syrup. And if you've seen any of my videos before, you know what I'm doing. I'm looking for their level of activity. I am looking for the queen. I'm looking for eggs and larvae. I don't see any on this frame. Looking for any signs of deformed wing virus. If I find them, I will cull them, aka kill them, pull them out of the hive. Quite a few drones in here. A couple of drone cells on the bottom of that frame. I did bring extra full-size frames. It's actually in that purple nuke there. So if I do have a frame full of honey, I'll pull it now. I'll get the bees off of it, pull it now. Put it in the tote and put the lid on the tote. And replace it with an empty frame so they can continue. These are the kind of gestures or body movements like I just did that get the bees riled up. If you move slow, you're pretty dang calm. But as soon as you make any fast gestures, or you slip, or you fall, God forbid, that's when you see then become concerned. Well, this queen is busy. That makes me happy. Jesus Christ. That would be a gesture. Could I have prevented that? No. Why did it happen? Because of the design of the hives and the frames. Somebody do something different. There's all kinds of brood on here that's capped. There is larva and there are eggs. That means the queen is in here. Technically, I don't have to keep going. However, if I do want to make a split, this would be a perfect frame to remove. First, I want to make sure the queen is not on here. And I'll put this in the tote. The bubbly stuff at the bottom is all drone comb. Lots and lots of brood, which is wonderful. One's hatching right now. My queens are marked, so they're fairly easy to find. Gotta be gentle, look in the nooks and crannies, and look on the edges. She does move differently. I would like to make a split. I typically do every year. I've slowed down this year a little bit because I'm so busy with this class and work. Got a new furry baby. They're furry when they hatch. Very cute. I don't see the queen. So I'm going to put this in the tote. One of the things that can happen is if you put them all on one side of the tote will tip. So you got to kind of do a little weight distribution thing. Lots of drone comb at the bottom of this colony, and I'll be removing it. And you can see over here some workers carrying off a drone larva. They carry off their dead. Leave no one behind. I'm going to open this up. The humming is good and consistent. It tells me another clue that the queen is here. Once you get to beekeeping for a while, you'll start to recognize the humming, the different hums, different sounds that they make. I like the J-hook. Try to set it down on the edge. More brood. Very good. Eggs, teeny tiny eggs and larvae. This would be a good cell to graft from. And this was my original grafting time. Actually, it was solstice, which was last week, but I wasn't able to do it on solstice. If you accidentally put your finger on one, you'll know, because they will buzz in a panic, and you'll feel the vibration through your gloves. I've got some honey on my other glove that they are taking advantage of. So I've got eggs, larvae, and brood on this side too. This will be a split for me. So, see the drone comb on the end? Those are unfertilized eggs. 16 chromosomes. Worker bees have 32. Alright, in the tote. Haven't located the queen yet. As soon as I do, I'll close up this hive. Everyone's healthy and lack of a better term, happy. I'm going to open this nuke hive over here, this purple one. I don't know if you can see it. And I will put those frames I just took out into this nuke hive. Plenty of nurse bees on there to keep that brood warm. It has to be kept warm or it'll die. Got a lot of crowding going on here. Hard to grasp the frame when everybody's holding on to the end of it, so I'm smoking it. And I'm just brushing the bees away with my finger and trying to exert an iron grip on a heavy frame. Not easy. Lots of drone comb on the bottom there. These will be in the center of this new colony. Eggs, larvae, brood. Nurse bees, honey. What I need now is a queen. Hatched or unhatched. She doesn't have to be unhatched. She doesn't have to be mated because it's warm out. It's going to be real warm all week. Because there is ample opportunity to do some nuptial flights. And the queen in this colony is doing a great job. She will replace the brood that I'm taking. And also, me taking this brood helps prevent a swarm. The colony getting so big it needs more space. This is frame number 4, full of brood. Absolutely chock full of brood. Wow, look at that. Beautiful brood pattern. Guess what I have to do? I have to take a picture. Gorgeous brood pattern. Solid. Camera. Where is it? There it is. So back to the drone congregation. DCA. The drones all get together and fly together when they see a virgin queen, when they smell one, because she'll emit some pheromones. Kind of like when a woman with a lot of perfume walks by. They follow her and race. And then she will mate. That one will die. She'll mate again. That one will die. I'm going to make a real strong split here because I've got a swarm cell on the bottom. And there is... difficult to see, a larva in there, so they're making a queen cell, swarm cell, but then they won't have to if I take these out. There'll be no need to replace the queen because she won't be taken off. Full frames of brood. I'm going to spray the inside of this purple hive some sugar syrup so they can have some yummy yum. Another full frame of brood. I just need to see that queen, because I want to make sure I didn't put her in the nuke split. This frame has been active all spring and into summer. This queen is super good. Good genetics. So the swarm cell that has a larva that's now in the purple nuke, but I don't think you can see, will hatch a virgin. My beloved black queen that died last night by drowning, her genetics are in the drone in the hive next to the purple nuke. And there's also 11 supersedure cells in that hive, which are queen replacements. Since those are her brothers, or her relatives, she wouldn't mate with them, with the drones in her colony. But these gals could. Lots of activity going on. Lots of drones. Where is that queen? I know she's here because I just saw eggs, which means she was here within the last couple days. I have gotten myself in trouble doing this before, where I think I had inadvertently... There she is. Hi, lady. Hi, lady. All right. She has a number on her, number 8. Where is she? She's looking for places to lay. Lay, lady, lay. Lots of broods. This is frame 5 of brood. I'm going to gently knock off that drone foam and put her back in. This honey on my glove is causing some distraction. Okay, she's here. I'm going to move this closer to the middle. This one on the end. So I've broken up the brood nest, which is the warmest part of the hive, which is in the center of the colony. I have some empty frames here, empty foundation, that I would love to have drawn out. If I stick it close enough to the queen, they'll draw it out pretty quickly. A lot of bees in here. Another frame of brood. More drones. I can tell they're drones because the frame is stuck to the bottom. The drone frames end up being made on the bottom typically. Sometimes they can clog up the entrance. They're starting to pay too much attention to me. I do want to get some of those drone cells out because I don't want to be stuck with a varroa infection. Drone cells, brood, brood. That drone comb right there is going to go out front. It's not going easily, huh? Got more. The bees that were on that brood will make their way back into the hive. I'm going to remove this frame, add an empty frame, add an empty frame to that one. I need to find a queen for that split. I do have some swarm cells in some of those nukes. Maybe I'll remove those and put them in the purple nuke, because those are the daughters of my beloved black queen that just died. It's always one more thing. Can I just do one more thing? It'll only take a minute. That is my clue, or my cue, for it will always take more than a minute, and it will always cause more disruption. I like these days when I can spend it in my colonies, just chilling, just checking everything out, knowing what's going on, what's happening. I've learned a great deal by observation, but that does not replace what I've learned by researching and in classes. Another frame of brood, heavy on the drone. You can see the drone hanging off the bottom, and I'm just going to go like this, so it would seem as though it's just naturally falling off instead of me cutting it off. It's not going. There we go. Come on. No more disruptions, for the love of God. Okay. I will put this back together. Document my data. That extra drone foam also will make it so your frames won't fit. You won't touch bottom or hang properly. Other bees get stuck under there, etc. We got some gunk on top here. Remove that. Oh, son of a gun. See, when I start moving fast, I start making mistakes. Here we go. I kind of shimmy it in when I'm putting the frames back in to make sure there's no bees underneath. It's hard. Here we go. A little bit of nummy num. Sweeten them up a little bit. And slow them down. Makes their wings stick to their body. New frame. I painted a layer of wax on it. I'm spraying it with sugar syrup. It has some essential oils in it that act as an attractant for the bees and encourage them to draw out some wax. Give the queen more room. And also because I disposed of all my old frames because I was having chronic nosema infections every freaking year. And it gets in the wax. Which is another reason I've switched to plastic frames, because they're easier to clean and sterilize. So this box did not have a queen excluder. Yeah, it did. Okay. So I don't have to worry about any queens being in the top box. She will have plenty of room to keep laying. There we go. Now there's a little bit of space because there's only 9 frames in here instead of 10. A little bit of space between the frames, and I'm just going to move them all towards the center. Otherwise, they'll build burr comb in between to shrink that space. Alright. How you like me now? How you like me now? The other day was sucky. This day's better, except that my black queen is gone. But I got another one. But it's not the same. Me and the other one have been on a journey together, if you will. I've got one on my face. Not a good look for me. She doesn't think so. She's buzzing near my eyeball right now. So I don't want to squish any of these guys. So I'm going to kind of shimmy this on. It's my warning that here we come. I'm just going to gently lay it down. I see I've trapped one by the head, one by the thorax. I typically will smoke them so they'll leave. Doesn't always work. This one here on my face is not my friend, or I am not their friend. It's not me, it's them. Okay, where's my extra lid? Right here. I'm going to slide the honey super back on. I would really like to smoke them down, get them into the hive. I don't want to crush any. You can see I'm not producing much smoke. It's in there, I swear. I am not master of the smoke. There we go, a little more air. And I can direct it. There we go. Down into the hive, ladies. I want them down into the deep box so I can put the honey super on top. This is a very wonderful, productive hive, and I believe I've got a new colony out of it. So I will take that purple nuke and move it over to the edge and put one of those swarm cells in it. I'm 2 frames short of it, so I will need to go get 2 more frames. What I don't want to happen is I don't want the bees from the purple nuke, from the split, to fly back into the mother hive, which is right here. These bees don't want to budge. This one at my face sure looks like it doesn't want to budge either. Okay, yeah, I got it. Bring back some bright orange pollen, that's dandelion. This is right as they're working. The crunch. I don't like the crunch. Remember, this heavy, constrict your abdominal muscles. And you use your legs, right? It doesn't work that way. Maybe if I was 6 feet or 5'4". I need to adjust the queen excluder. I don't want any leaks. The queen excluder is made for wooden Langstroth hives, not for these plastic ones. And then lift that up. Make sure everything's sealed. And it is. Now for the feed box, I just need to knock off the gals that are underneath and then put that back on. Highly disruptive. Sorry, gals. That's how I roll. Not intentionally. So remember, we have gals underneath here. I need to go in. I will brush. I usually bang, but there's not that many. And I'll brush facing you. That way they don't see me. They won't sting if they don't see it. Brush these ladies in. Not that that works. I don't want to crunch any there. Empty the dead. It's got some dead in there. Excuse me. Wiggled into place. Well, I just took one for the team. I'm going to edit that out. It was wiggling the feeder into place, not wanting to squish anybody, and not wanting any leaks. She got me in the pinky. Right below the nail. Oi! Well, since I did take a bunch out of this colony, I'm going to give them some syrup. It does not go into their honey. some extra sustenance for bad weather and also stressful situations when we're asking more of them, like right now. Alright, I've smoked myself. Boy, that stinger hurts. Boy, if you have anger management issues, this is not something you want to be doing. I need a queen for this one, and I need some frames. I will, since this is here right now, it's easier to move the small nuke. Purple nuke, 3 frames of brood, no queen. I will go get a virgin queen that I took out of the orange hive yesterday. Good genetics, good genetics. Where to put her? 2 swarm cells that are not attached to anything, along with some attendants and some yum juice. So I'll have to grab the swarm cell out of here, and I'm just going to wedge her in between 2 of the frames. There's no other queens in this colony. Just like the other nuke hive, everyone has drowned. Even though I put little sticks in there to prevent the drowning. Fortunately, queen cell is okay. There's 2 queen cells in here. I don't know how cold this one got during the night. Put it right in between these 2 frames. Careful not to squish it. And they will take care of it. I need to find a solution to the drowning. What is one of the leading causes of death with honeybees? Drowning. Drowning in their own feeders. I could put the other queen in here on a frame with a brood cage on her, or a queen cage, which would allow her to hatch and not be killed, because it would trap her. I need a large frame with drawn comb and nothing else on it. It's a way to incubate a queen. Well, we got the larva. It's not sealed up. Everybody else is dead or gone. It's still moist. Except they need access to it to seal it up. So I can't put it in a little queen cage. I can hang it from the frames. And see what they do with it. That means I'll have to be in here tomorrow and see if they close that swarm cell. They need some food, and they need some syrup, and they need to be moved. I've got 2 more frames. One that's drawn comb, one that's not. And a lot of gnats flying around me. Here's the little cage I was talking about. Looking for any signs of fecal matter. I don't see any. I do see some now. ¿Dónde estás? Cool. My Spanish is gone. I thought about it while I was grabbing these frames, and what I'm going to do is put this new hive over near the garden so that it's not near these hives, and these ladies are far less likely to fly backwards to get to their home hive, in my experience. So we're going to fish out that, they're called, that little queen cell that is closed up, that they're tending to very nicely. As you can see. So we've got some attendance, which is great. I will stick her right here, her cell. And see, do I have any honey on there? Nope. And I'm just going to press this little cage into the comb. This will allow her to hatch. She can't get out, like a queen excluder, but they can. So the attendants that are with her can get out and feed her. Get out, bring some food back, and feed her. I guess I'm still a few frames short. Literally and figuratively. That's okay. I can work that out later. The first queen to hatch will be the one that's in the cage. She'll be able to start laying. The other queen, we'll see what happens. I want to put some fondant on there. It's got thymol in it. Helps protect against mites, and they absolutely love it. I don't know how commercial beekeepers do it. They must not pay this close attention to their colonies. Which makes me wonder, is that why we're having so many problems with our bees? Do beekeepers, like commercial beekeepers, not know what's going on with their colonies? Because how could they? Unless they have a whole lot of staff. And I'll tell you, brother, you can't make a living doing this. You just can't. Not with all the honey that's dumped in our country by other countries who make it with sugar syrup and rice syrup and corn syrup, and they sell it at Costco for $5 a gallon. We can't make honey that cheaply. If you're buying cheap honey, it's probably not really honey. It's unlikely. Alright, pressing that down. A little syrup. Moisten a little bit for them. And I'm going to put on this feeder. And if you notice, it is melted. It had a melting incident right here. One of those drawbacks of having polystyrene hives is that they do melt. If you get too close with your smoker. I'm going to wait to put in the syrup until I move it because I don't want the syrup sloshing around. I'm going to close this up. Alright, what do we got here? Dead. No, not dead. Used these two in this hive for a split. Black queen is dead, didn't make it through the night. I'll try not to say it again. That's all for today. Have a nice day. Ukraine is winning. Fight the fascism. If you don't, who will? Think about what you would have done during Nazi Germany, and that's probably what you would be doing now. That's the saying. If you would have done nothing when the Nazis were invading, you're probably doing nothing now. Worst yet, if you're not seeing what's happening, please open your eyes. Stop taking opinion as fact. and find your own facts. Do the research. It's my mini lecture. This video is copyrighted and all rights reserved. Take care.